Good day, YouTube. I'm gonna give it a minute to wind up. I'm looking for a spot to make sure the signal's good. I started somewhere and I don't think the signal was good, so I'm relocating. See what happens. See if we get anybody in here. See if this stream goes. As long as the signal's good, give me a hey y'all or something in the chat if you can get this without buffering us or reloading or such things. We'll see if we get this going. You know? What's up, JJ? All right, we got JJ and we must have clear signal. We're both tucked back in the woods. Well, not so much for me. We're out here, it's next to the city, so different view for all those that enjoy the view. Hope everybody's doing good. Found a place to plop down here. Oh. Hey, what's up, Walter? Walter, I got to catch your last video. I browsed by it this morning. I didn't get a chance to check it out. This is just for you. You don't need this. Nobody that watches this video needs it. But I guess it can be useful for your use, if that makes sense. Everybody on here is prepping. I'm pretty sure there's nobody that watches this that is not fully engaged in doing all the things. But after the debacle last night, and I only call it a debacle because I didn't watch, but based upon the commentary, it's a debacle. As we kind of knew it was. But I was just thinking, are there still people that aren't prepping? Like, are there people out there that are so blissfully happy and content with their political process that they think things are going to get elected, elections are going to come and go, and things will just progress and things will be fine, right? And there'll be no problems. They'll be able to just go out and vote, go back to school the next day, go back to work the next day, and the next year after that, and the year after that, and the cycle will go again in 2 years or 4 years, and they'll just vote some more, vote harder, no matter if they win or lose. You know, that's just the swing. It's just the natural cycle, right? It goes back and forth. The pendulum goes one way, it goes the other. You know, just vote. It'll be fine, you know? Some people vote with their feet a little bit, you know. It's the way things happen. Are there still people out there like that? Are there people that are not preparing for their own political reality, is what I really got it down to. Do people really look at their own political beliefs and understand that if they hold those political beliefs, they should be prepping harder than anybody? Was what I was thinking. I mean, the preppers are the crazy ones. Yeah, we know what's coming for us. But if you're directly involved in politics and voting hard, oh, you should be prepping. That was my thought. What's up, Chance, Steve, Irish? What's up? Afternoon. Hey, what's up, Practical Rifleman? What's up? Oh, Gray Note. Okay, yeah. Thanks for that, because I was like, I've seen the name, but I can't remember who it is really. I can't. What's up, Gnostic? Hey. Haven't seen you on here. I see you on Twitter all the time. I haven't seen you on here in a while. So the political reality that people claim to be a part of, but yet they don't prepare for their outcome. And I'll just start off. I made a list. I was like, this needs a list, like all the political sides, right? And I started going into other sides, but politics. Let's start with the politics, right? If you're a Democrat, a voting, blue dog Democrat, maybe you're a working man. I mean, what you're voting for. What are you really voting for? You're voting for a government that takes control of just about every aspect of life, removes corporations, taxes everybody, and is going to come for some sort of gun control, right? So your direct opposition is also somebody that a good portion of your party thinks is the most violent, most outrageous, well-armed group in the world. You might want to prepare for that. Are you preparing for the government to ration your food and your commodities? Are you preparing for the government to tell you what job you can and can't have, based upon whether or not you are equally represented in that portion, in that job? We're going to have women shore workers, women oil refinery workers, out in the oil fields and everything. It's going to be equally distributed, make sure everybody's equally represented throughout society, right? That's what they espouse to. That's their political goals, right? Everybody knows it's not possible, but if you aspire to that, that's what's coming. It's all going to be rationed. Everything's going to be set up. You don't call it communism, but hey, that's what it is. You're voting for communism. But your opposition is supposedly so violent and crazy that they need to have their guns taken away. Are you preparing for the reality of what happens if you try that? I don't know if they are, because they haven't thought it through. These people vote for things they haven't thought through, right? And conversely, if you're a dyed-in-the-red Republican and I know that there's a separation between the MAGA and the red Republicans, so I don't know how to draw the line, other than the MAGA people might be actually prepping for a large port, but I don't think a lot of them are, because they're all boomers and old Gen X to a large degree. But if you're a dyed-in-the-red American Republican voting, you're facing a government overreach that's trying to reach in every part of your life, that's going to do what I just talked about previously to you. What are you doing to prepare so that the government doesn't affect your life, right? So that those things don't become an eventuality. And you can't just vote your way out. We know this, right? Are Republicans really prepping for that outcome? And then they're also voting in a party that wants to continue financing corporate largesse and promoting corporate monopolies, basically, to the point of just dominating every part of the economy. Mom and pops can't exist under those policies, especially with the Federal Reserve. The Republicans go along with the Federal Reserve, agenda and inflation and all that just as much as anybody else. Look at the budgets, the defense overreach, and basically a militarized state at some point is the eventual outcome. So how are you going to survive that if you're voting for that? So you got to vote for your own you got to prep for your own political reality as well as your political opposition, right? Because if the Dems win, they're coming for your guns. So they say, at least. Like, are they preparing for that? And I made my list like on down the line, like outside of politics, but that would be another video. If you have religious beliefs or whatever, like, and you have economic beliefs, like, that's a separate discussion. It's entirely helicopter flyby. And then you got everybody else. So if you have the libertarian types, right? And I think the libertarians are enough of reality to know they need to prepare for something at some level. You want to vote to leave the government to leave you alone and leave other people alone. So you got to make sure you're preparing for no government handouts, no very, very limited government services. Whether that, I don't know, the roads, I'm not going to get into the roads argument, but reduced government services, right? And most libertarians don't believe in no government services, but definitely from the federal level, Social Security, Department of Transportation, all those big overblown government agencies gone. Limited to no taxation from the federal level. If you take control of the state level, limited taxation. So you're only getting the very basic of services at your local level of fire, police, determined by local councils, right? That's the way the republic's supposed to work. Are you preparing for that outcome of where you don't have those services and that those types of things, right? Whether your retirement, your financial stability, all those things. Are people really doing that, or do people just vote libertarian because it sounds good? And are you preparing for the outcome of your political opposition is going to be in charge, and especially if it's one part of the blue versus red team and they consider you the enemy and they come for you because you're breaking all their rules and laws, and what are you doing for that political outcome when they just continue to make things more and more illegal, more and more regulation that you refuse to comply? You got to prepare for that outcome, right? And I guess tangential to them would be the anarchists and the non-participants, right? There's lots of micro parties But really, is that a vote of no confidence or a vote of non-participation? You know, just putting your voice into the arena at some point just to show that you don't support the two-party system. Hard to say, but you got to be preparing for what the people that are going to win are going to do, right? Which is impose upon your life. So what are you doing to resist that? And I was just wondering, you know, if you want to get a discussion with somebody to convince them to prepare, ask them what their political beliefs are and go, are you preparing for that eventual reality of what happens? Or if you do lose, the reality of the opposite, like your political opposition comes to you after you, because that's what's coming too. The red team seems to be convinced that they're being politically prosecuted through the extreme rule of law. Like, are you preparing for that? In the many different ways, you know? That's how you get somebody prepared. Go, what do you think's going to happen? Who do you vote for? Like, okay, then are you prepared to live that way should that eventuality come out to where you have extreme government overreach or less government influence? And on the opposite side, for both realities, right? Like, everybody should be preparing, because it's going to go one way or the other. We're either going to the extreme rule of law or a divided, very minimalistic form of government in your area. Like, it's going one of the two ways, and right now it's going directly towards extreme rule of law, whether it's red or blue controlling it. It's just what they implement when they get there, right? So that's my thoughts, you know? Like, be prepared. If you want to convince somebody to repair, ask them what they really believe. And that probably will even change their mind on what they really believe. Because we know how that goes. Once you go down the prepper trail, it's like, I don't believe none of this, because all of it's working against you, right? It's all working against your community. So I'm going to heat up here, I think, and probably have to cut this at some point, but hope you all are doing well. To 420 check-in. 420 Homestead, what's up? What happened to the 520 channel? JJ, okay, looks like Steve said hello to everybody. Walter said hello. Giving your consent to tyranny by voting. Well, we're supposed to have a defined set of rules, JJ, called the Constitution, but that got thrown away. So when they overstep their bounds, then yes, you go into a tyrannical environment. But there's supposed to be bounds in the Republic that prevent tyranny, but people ignored that and didn't enforce it. So are you preparing for that eventuality that either you have to stand up against tyranny or just give into it? I guess would be another way to focus that too. Either way, you got to prepare, right? You should be preparing for those eventualities. Good comment though. Let's see what else. 420 JJ. Yeah, 420 is out hiking the mountains. Check him out on Twitter. He's like, did you do like 30 straight days of hiking there, 420? Like, he's hitting it hard. Oh, you just renamed 420? You just renamed the channel? I didn't know you had called it 520. I thought it was a different channel. Yeah, 420 is hitting up the mountains, hiking every day, making me look bad. So, you know, we'll try to catch up eventually. What's up, Saints? Do not comply, right? Well, prepare for the eventuality that they're going to make you comply. Right? That's the on our loop in here. I think everybody's on that. But if you want to talk to somebody else and convince them to prepare, just let them know that what happens if they don't win, or even the eventuality what they're voting to put in place might convince them to prepare and and actually get out of that system as well. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, RIP 520. There you go, on the Twitter. On the Twitterix. Whatever they're calling it. I still call it Twitter. I haven't even changed the app. I've purposefully not updated my app because it's still Twitter to me. No name change needed or allowed. So, folks, just giving you some thoughts after the debacle last night and all the commentary that I saw on the Twitterverse and elsewhere. Apparently people are still engaged in the system and convinced it's working for them somehow. So, well, won't let it get too hot here. What happened to Poison Stinger? You know what, Walter? Poison just commented on one of my videos the other day. He commented on my last one or the one before that. I can't remember which. But he's still out there. He's not doing videos though, I guess. So yeah, he commented me on his live stream channel. So Poison's out there. Would be nice to him show proof of life though and do a video or something, right? Irish is on probation. Is that right? Can't be putting the verboten information out there. Right, Saints? That just makes you prepare harder, right? Oh, Stinger's on probation? Oh, I didn't know Stinger done a video in a while. Last video I think I saw, I mean, he did those live streams way back with you in the morning. That was years ago. I don't think I've seen anything from Stinger in a long time. But yeah, it'd be good to see everybody come back a little bit. Throw something out there. Fight against the man, yell into the wind. Right? Yeah, that's quite the view change. It's just been a weird year. I haven't seen the official totals, but I'm pretty sure the rainfall from the tropical storm formerly known as Hurricane Hillary put us over the total water year record. I'm fairly certain that we hit that. So I don't know. I guess we had to see official records, but we still got another month. We could get rain, and even add on top of that, wild year. Definitely needed it. I don't know where it all got stored, but hopefully some of it went into the aquifers, and the lakes are full though. I mean, lakes are full. Yeah, right, Gnostic. You still looks green. Like it's late April. It's almost September, and things still look. I mean, obviously, well, that looks green because that's a golf course. But I mean, the mountainsides still look green. You can see the green. The cheatgrass is brown. You know, that dries out pretty quick. But I mean, just we had water up until June, and then we had a dry July, and then we got that this big storm with the storm of all storms, with the tropical storm. And yeah, just lots of water. Everything still looks, you can still see snow out there in the distance. I don't know if you can see it. There we go. Snow out there on Job's Peak still. A few other mountains still have the snow on them at the tops, which is usually melted off this time. Mammoth was still skiing a couple weeks ago. I don't know if they've closed. I think they've closed now. But Mammoth was still skiing just a couple weeks ago, which is just insane to be skiing into August. I think they just did it just to prove they could. You know? That's a good point, JJ. Yeah, with all the flooding and water run, there's probably some gold been washed out of the hills, uncovered. Yeah, that's probably true. That's the way the old timers used to do it, right? Time it around spring runoff. But I thought I'd just throw those thoughts out there, gentlemen. If you know anybody that's still involved in the political process, why are they not preparing for their political reality to come true? Because if it does, they're going to need to be prepared, because it's not going to be good for anybody. And vice versa. If your opposition wins, you need to be preparing for the other eventuality. Because it's not, I mean, it's gloom and doom no matter which side you look at, right? But in the reality, it's, you got to prepare for the small things first and the big things next. Whether you got a tropical storm that used to be a hurricane or earthquake or tornado or whatever, start there and work your way up, right? Always bring it back to that, to reality, and you can work your way up from there. But the big scary part of what the politics wants to do, and the economic crises that continue to build up and foment our not reassuring either. So y'all be good. That's 20 solid minutes. We'll get out of here. We'll get out of the heat a little bit. And you know what to do. Prep hard, live free.